Tensions in Epping have just taken a disturbing new turn. What was already a highly charged situation has now been escalated, not by protesters, but by those in uniform. A decision was made behind the scenes, and when the truth came out, it left the public stunned and furious. What really happened that day? And why did the police deny it until they couldn't anymore? Let's break it down. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. We have released our new 0% Liberal t-shirts. You can find them at britishstand.com or go to the link in the description. Let's get back into today's video. Something deeply troubling has just come to light in Epping, and it raises serious questions not only about law enforcement's impartiality, but about where their true loyalties lie. Footage has emerged showing Essex police officers escorting ANTIFA-aligned pro-migrant protesters directly to the Bell Hotel in Epping, the very same hotel that's been at the center of local protests and growing public anger over illegal immigration. This wasn't a peaceful walk down a high street, this was a tactical march to the heart of the unrest, aided by the very people supposed to keep the peace. At first, Essex police flatly denied the whole thing. They denied escorting anyone. They denied having a role in helping these masked militant-style activists reach the hotel. But when video footage surfaced, clearly showing officers marching alongside these protesters, some chanting, others masked, they had no choice but to change their story. And now we're being told it was their duty. Assistant Chief Constable Stuart Hooper gave a carefully worded statement saying, "We have a reasonable duty to protect people who want to exercise their rights. Police have a duty to facilitate free assembly." But let's be honest here, there's a huge difference between facilitating free speech and orchestrating a confrontation. The timing, the location, and the manner in which this was handled have all raised red flags. Locals who were already protesting about the safety of women and girls in the area after unvetted migrant men were placed in a local hotel say this looked and felt deliberate, a forced conflict, a powder keg lit by the very people who should be de-escalating tension. Even Nigel Farage weighed in, saying, "I didn't want to believe this had happened, and then I saw the video. It's an absolute disgrace." He didn't mince words either, calling for accountability, stating, "Heads must roll." And let's be clear, this isn't just about one protest. This is about trust in policing and how far gone things have become when forces are actively protecting government policy rather than protecting the British people. Because that's what this really is. A show of loyalty not to the public, but to the establishment. As many predicted, clashes broke out soon after the escorted counter-protesters arrived. Objects were thrown, there were reports of minor injuries, and now 6 people have been charged over the disorder. And yet, none of this would have happened had the police not played escort for political agitators. Locals like Orla Minihane, a leading voice among the anti-migrant protest group, described the entire scene as a set-up. She said the community felt like the police were almost forcing a confrontation between them and Antifa. Meanwhile, Epping Forest District Council leader Chris Whitbread has called for the migrant hotel to be shut down permanently. Echoing what the locals have said from day one, this was always the wrong location, the government didn't listen, and now the situation has spiraled out of control. And all of this, the denial, the backtracking, the public backlash, has left a bitter taste. Let's be honest, if the footage hadn't surfaced, the lie would have stood. The public would have been gaslit yet again, told that nothing happened, that they were imagining things, or worse, that they were the problem for asking questions. So yes, heads must roll, because this isn't just a bad call, it's a betrayal of the very people police are meant to protect. If officers are being used as political pawns to push unpopular immigration policies and crush community dissent, then we're in serious trouble. The people of Epping have made their voices heard. They're not extremists, they're not thugs. They're ordinary Britons who care about their towns, their daughters, and their future. And if our government won't listen, and our police won't protect us, then who will? In other news, gang leaders, corrupt police officers, and companies selling small boat equipment for channel crossings will face sanctions in the government's latest bid to smash the gangs. Those found to be aiding illegal migrants gain entry to Britain will soon be in line for a raft of new sanctions, including asset freezes and a total ban from the UK. Foreign Secretary David Lammy announced on Tuesday the measures will be introduced to target anyone involved in fueling the crisis. This includes those involved in supplying and financing small boats and fake passports. Elsewhere, middlemen putting cash through the Hawala system, a global money transfer network commonly used in payments linked to channel crossings, will be targeted. The first wave of measures comes into force on Wednesday and will publicly name anyone sanctioned. As a result, it will be illegal for UK businesses and banks to deal with them. The measure is expected to include more than 20 designations and could include corrupt officials and police. For too long, criminal gangs have been lining their corrupt pockets and preying on the hopes of vulnerable people with impunity as they drive irregular migration to the UK. We will not accept this status quo, Lammy said. That's why the UK has created the world's first sanctions regime targeted at gangs involved in people smuggling and driving irregular migration, as well as their enablers. From tomorrow, those involved will face having their assets frozen, being shut off from the UK financial system, and banned from travelling to the UK. But just before the sanctions announcement, an unusual boat was caught ferrying migrants to the south coast. A yacht was intercepted off the coast of the Isle of Wight by the National Crime Agency, NCA, on Sunday. The boat had travelled from northern France and was then escorted into Gosport Marina in Hampshire by a border force cutter, the NCA said. Two Ukrainian nationals aged 43 and 37, whom were said to be crewing the yacht, were arrested on suspicion of facilitating illegal immigration. 5 passengers, including 4 Albanians and a Vietnamese national, were also arrested on suspicion of immigration offences. All 7 people remain in custody while they are being questioned by NCA investigators, the agency added. The NCA's senior investigating officer, Julian Harriman, said, "This operation was part of an ongoing NCA investigation led jointly with French judicial authorities and Gendarmerie Nationale, which has been supported by Border Force." Tackling people smuggling gangs remains a priority for both France and the United Kingdom, and we are determined to do all we can to target, disrupt, and dismantle the criminal networks involved. Rachel Reeves could be preparing to sell billions of pounds worth of seized cryptocurrency in a bid to help fill a black hole in the government's budget. The Home Office is developing an official crypto storage system to manage sales of Bitcoin and other digital currencies confiscated from criminals. Law enforcement agencies are believed to hold at least £5 billion in seized cryptocurrency, though the exact total remains unknown. The Chancellor's potential sell-off comes as ministers face mounting pressure over public finances, with economists suggesting Reeves needs to find up to £20 billion this autumn. The Treasury is understood to be monitoring the situation closely as cryptocurrency prices continue to climb, multiplying the value of existing seizures. During a single police raid in 2018, officers recovered 61,000 Bitcoin from the proceeds of a Chinese Ponzi scheme being stored in Britain. Although the cryptocurrency was worth around £300 million when it was seized, it has now ballooned to more than £5.4 billion, according to Arkham Intelligence. The seized Bitcoin came from Jian Wen, a takeaway worker jailed last year for money laundering. Chinese victims of the investment fraud have requested the return of the digital currency. Bitcoin hit a record high of $123,000, £92,000 last week, doubling its value from a year ago. The surge has been in part attributed to Donald Trump's pro-cryptocurrency stance in the United States, with American lawmakers passing the country's first major national cryptocurrency legislation, the Genius Act, on Friday. The Home Office has sought bids for a crypto storage and realization framework worth up to £40 million, with providers earning commission on cryptocurrency sales. The centralized system would handle secure storage and disposal of frozen digital assets across police forces. However, selling cryptocurrency presents significant challenges, with complex criminal cases often taking years to resolve. With the delays in court hearings that we're getting now, you have to seize it and then maintain it for a long time. Professor Michael Levi of Cardiff University, an expert on asset seizures, told The Telegraph. Under current legislation, proceeds not returned to victims are split between law enforcement programs and central government accounts. Norman Lamont, the former chancellor, has suggested Reeves should spend any Bitcoin proceeds right away. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has vowed to establish a national Bitcoin reserve if elected, echoing Donald Trump's directive for US officials to create a reserve from seized cryptocurrency. Labour has rejected this approach, with Emma Reynolds, the economic secretary, stating that Bitcoin's volatility makes it less suitable as a reserve asset for the UK. Aidan Larkin, chief executive of seizure company Asset Reality, sees significant potential. There is oil under our feet in terms of digital assets from an illicit perspective that could have hundreds of millions of pounds coming back into the UK each year. He added, "If I'm in the Treasury, I'm thinking of this as our Norway oil moment." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you have not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.